Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Strimzi Community Call on Thursday, the 19th of March, 2026. I have started the recording, so let's start with PRs and issues. So we have first this one for the access operator. I'm assuming, did you add this, Jakob?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did
And
anyone?
I wonder if those were the issues other Jakub mentioned or if some user added them. I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, this one at least. Somebody added a comment, so it's possible. I guess this user, I don't know if they've joined. Can't see them on the call. Had added it. Basically, it's an issue that's actually been. It's a pull request that's been open for a while around adding support for labels and secrets. The last comment on it is saying we were going to discuss in the community call. I went and found the discussion because I realized that we never actually updated here. But the general consensus was that we were fairly happy for this to be added, assuming it didn't seem to have a lot of overhead maintenance that it would be adding. I have now gone and had a look through the pull request and it looks pretty good to me. It does have a merge conflict, but it's a pretty straightforward one. So I guess we need to either we can ping the original person and see if they want to sort out this PR to get it back in mergeable shape. But I guess the question we should probably answer is if not, does one of us want to take ownership of it, or do we just close it and say, user here, if you'd like to open your own PR doing this, then feel free. To me, this seems like quite a low priority issue, so I wouldn't have time to pick this up. Okay. I will right now add a comment tagging the original person raising it. Who raised it? Was it Chris?
Maybe you can suggest to also fix the DCO sign off.
Yeah, happy. And then we've got a discussion. Does anyone know who added this one?
I did not edit, but I think this is some kind of environment issue with the
Yeah,
socket
so
and the HTTP2 connection and so on.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I guess maybe this person added it.
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, Jakub mentioned that he added one issue and discussion for just for highlighting to others.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why he would highlight these because he
That's-
didn't seem to ever commented on this, but
No. And I think the answers that had been given were clear enough. Maybe not in this one. Yeah, anyway, I guess for people who want to have a look, yeah, it seems like two different people have reported this in the last 3 weeks on more recent versions of Strimzi, so it might be a discussion to get back to and see if we can help them. But yeah, as you said, it does seem like environment problems, but
Yeah, it seems to me that way. I mean, there could be something Fabricate is doing, something special it's doing, which is causing this, but I mean, it's not happening often enough to be a general Fabricate issue. So I guess it might be some compatibility issue between Fabricate and whatever Kubernetes they use and how they are configured and so on. But yeah, not much we can do about on the Strimzi side, I guess.
But yeah, so I guess general call from the maintainers, if you can have a look and try and help, then do. And then did I add this one? Oh no, yes, I added this one explicitly. So this is an issue. Technically, I guess this comes under triage, but I thought it was worth making sure we discuss this in case we didn't get to it during the issue triage because we need to make a decision sooner than later. So this is an issue that Jakob raised around using the Strimzi v1 API. My original intention was to do a new version of the Access Operator before v1 comes out, supporting the new v1 API, but I hadn't thought through specifically on the fact that the API wouldn't work. So we don't have the v1 API version yet, because obviously that's part of the v1 release. And in Access Operator, the way it works is we pass concrete Java classes to Java Operator SDK to tell it what to watch for. So we have a problem here, which is we can't update the Access Operator easily to support the new v1 API until we have specifically the Maven dependency, the API for Strimzi v1. So I think we need to decide what to do. Um, I I've had a little look of like what different options would be. I think we could. I know Jakob, you given a suggestion here for using a generic Kubernetes resource and then casting. I haven't looked into whether that's supported by Informer Event Source. I think another option would be for us to have like a temporary create our own temporary version of the Kafka object or something, or take the CRD and then generate a Java. But all that feels quite hacky to me. So I think I'm kind of for me, I think I'm more on the side of just waiting for the Strimzi 1.0 release. The thing that's a shame about that is it means then that the operator repo then isn't you when you if somebody then goes to download the access operator from the cluster operator repo, it won't work with that version because we have that dependency. So yeah, that's not ideal. The only way I could think of getting around that would be to somehow release the API version first or something and then do access operator. But again, it gets really hacky. So I think we are just going to have to live with it is where I've sort of come to. But yeah, I thought we should make this decision sooner than later so we know what the plan is for access operator and what other people's thoughts were.
So you can in theory update the installation files in the operators repo separately,
Hmm.
but you can't update the release artifacts and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So are people happy with waiting and then having this disconnect? I guess we can make it clear in the Strimzi documentation that you should be that like what we've done.
Well, it will just fail. I mean, the most obvious thing you can do, I think, is to make sure we are prepared to do the release quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think we should be lining it up to just go immediately. Ah, okay. So it sounds like both me and Jakob are in favor of that. But I guess I haven't heard from many other people on this call. What I'll probably do is add a comment here and then give it a bit of time for people to disagree, and then if not, we'll just go with that as the plan. Um, some people plus one it, so I'm probably going to tag the people who haven't voiced. Well, Paolo's on the call. Paolo, are you happy with that plan?
Yep.
Cool. Who else? This is where I have to remember what people's flawless. That's Lukash, right? Yeah. I
Yes.
think they didn't line up, so I have to remember.
And
I
flawless
don't
is
think.
Jacob.
Hmm?
And flawless is Jacob, so it's not here.
Okay, so I'll tag those two and ask them.
I'm here, but I joined a little bit late, so I think I didn't catch the whole discussion.
So basically, the plan we're going to go forward with is to wait for the access operator release until cluster operator goes out, and then do the access operator release straight away, and just live with the fact that the access operator version in the artifacts, in the 1.0 release, and in the cluster operator repo, they won't work with the V1 cluster operator. But we're just
Yeah,
going to live with that because it's the simplest option.
yeah, fine by me.
Cool. Okay, so I'll just tag Lukash then. Cool. Sounds like a plan. Okay, did anyone have any other PRs or issues they wanted to share? Hmm. And then, so the discussion about bridge, I guess, whether we're doing 034 or whether it's going to be 100. Is that the topic of the
So
discussion?
I added it because we are slowly again getting into the point where the operators 1.0 release will be due and there will be no bridge release. And it also seems to me like we are lacking the plan to do the 1.0 release. So from the discussions we had on Slack, it seemed not really clear what our commitment to Java 17 or Java 21 is. Because if we do the 1.0 release with Java 17, I think that means commitment for pretty significant chunk of time to Java 17. I'm fine if you want to do it, but I don't think we should do 1.0 release now with Java 17 and then in June say that we are now doing 2.0 release because we want to move to Java 21. And then it seemed to me like we didn't really thought through what are the other things to do before the 1.0 release. Like I added there the metrics flag. I guess Paul or someone came up with some more. But yeah, like I guess that should have some planning if we want to do 1.0 release. So yeah, I'm kind of flexible if we do the 1.0 release, but I think these things should be discussed and decided and should get proper attention first.
So yeah, my take. After our discussion, I had a look and I had some thoughts. And yeah, to be honest, I would agree that maybe that's the time for moving to Java 21. So staying on Java 17, it's kind of not a blocker. I actually already have a pull request ready to make the change. I'm not sure if we need a proposal because we had the proposal in the past for moving the operator to Java 21. So we should just make a decision if we can I can just open a PR or we want to have a proposal for that.
I can speak only for myself. I'm happy if we agree on it here on the call to have just a simple PR without a proposal.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to propose.
And just to be clear, I don't want to push anyone to use Java 21 instead of
No,
Java
no,
17.
no.
But
yeah,
it's just the 1.0 release relationship which is concerning for me.
no, absolutely. I took your point, so I had my thoughts here, and I agree with you. Totally agree with you that it will be better having a 1.0 release with Java 21. So if there is no objections and there is agreement from the other maintainers we have on the call, so Maros, I see Jakub, Paul, maybe
Fine, man.
we can avoid the proposal, and I already have the PR. I will just push it right after the call. Regarding the rest, that's a good point, Jakub, about the enable metrics flag, because I went through the change log. We deprecated that a few releases ago, and it should be removed. But so anyway, it's really a tiny fix to be done. So it's something that I can do pretty quick. There is no impact on the operator because we already moved away from using that flag. So I'm happy to open a PR even for that and fix it. Also, again, going through the changelog, as you asked any other deprecated stuff, I added the line about OpenAPI v2. So the OpenAPI v2 was already deprecated. We have the endpoint in place so that if an HTTP client hits the endpoint, you have got the 410 gun code return. So we can make a decision here to just remove the endpoint, again, an easy fix, or we can stay with it, having just the endpoint returning what's already returning now that the endpoint is gone. So we can just agree on what to do.
I would probably just remove it if it's already deprecated for some
Yeah,
time.
yes, it's already deprecated. Okay. Yeah, so there are these three kind of, I would say, even simple PRs that I will open across today and tomorrow. I didn't find any other deprecations. So again, these three things are really simple. They have no impact on the operator. I guess that together with the other work about executor service that they would like to have in 1.0, that will lead to have the bridge 1.0 release together with the Strimzi 1.0, which will be a good fit.
Is that the last thing then, Paolo, for the 1.0? What happened with the TLS support? Has that gone in now?
It's already in. It's
Okay.
already in the bridge. There are a couple of PRs, or one PR, from Tina about adding the support for the operator, but of course that PR is waiting for the bridge release. But it's already in the bridge, I mean.
Cool. Is it worth discussing timelines for when we think we're doing the bridge release to make sure that we will do it in time for the operator's release?
Yeah, I just wanted to raise it.
Yeah. So next week I will be at KubeCon with Jakub, but I'm happy to find some time in order to try to push this for having the release end of March, at max first week of April.
So, but there's still some pull requests that need to go in, right?
Yes, that's the one for the proposal. So I have the proposal here in the list. It should be the last one, the 207.
So I guess while nobody cares about us in the project kiosk, you can do the PRs. I can approve them, and then when we are back from KubeCon, we do the release.
Yes.
Yes.
Or I will work across these days, even on the executor service implementation, even if the proposal is not approved yet. But I guess that, I don't know, maybe even tomorrow the other maintainers can have a look and we can get the proposal approved.
Yeah,
So
we may as well discuss this. Is this one right?
yeah, exactly. I will
Yeah,
do my
so
best for having the release, by the end of the March.
yes, so for any of the maintainers on the call, including myself, please put this proposal as high priority to get reviewed so that we can make sure that we line up the bridge release well. So it sounds like to me then that in order to make sure we have time, the aim would be that we get all of our pull requests lined up by the end of next week, and then we can do the release by like first week of April, rather than trying to cram too many things in because you may be very busy at the booth.
Yeah, let's say release candidate 1 by the end of March, and of course testing and the GA first week of April.
Perfect.
I guess that March will be across, so the end of March is across the first week of April.
You realize that it's the same week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm realizing at the same week, but beginning of the week release candidate 1 and GA the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, normally we don't need weeks to test the bridge
No,
release.
yeah, it's just 3 days, maximum 3 days, I would say. So
Cool. Perfect. Okay, shall we move on to proposals then? So I saw we've got a bunch of proposals that I guess were added by you, Jakob.
So I added the first 3 proposals.
Yeah.
Actually, the first 4, but the first 3, so I reviewed it all too. There was some suspicion that it might be AI generated, which I don't personally care that much, but it's been some time and we didn't hear back on the comments I raised there. So
Yeah, I saw. I feel like it's been over a month, if not a month and a half. So I'm happy for us to close these proposals rather than just leaving them open without the user coming back.
yeah, I mean, we have some proposals there stuck for a very long time, but some of them at least have some traffic and some replies from the authors and so on. But
Yeah.
this one, we never got back anything. So
Yeah.
and there's one of the proposals has PR related to it as well, which is pretty much the same. I left some comments, never heard back.
Mm-hmm. This one's the one that's got the PR, is it?
Yeah, the one with the PR is the one I have both the PR and the proposal on the same line in the notes. So
Okay, so it must be this one. Oh, there's the there's the PR. Yeah, as I say, I'm happy for us to close these. Cool. Are
so
you
will you
happy?
close it or should I close it offline or?
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Jakob, can you close them off around the line rather
Okay.
than you all sitting
Okay.
and watching me closing them?
Will do. And then the 206 proposal, that's from me as well. That's pretty much just as a please review.
Cool.
So yeah, please review. And I guess I will hopefully this week open a gateway API proposal as
Okay.
well, but that's not finished yet.
Okay. So does anyone have any other proposals they want to discuss? If not, we'll move on to issues.
I don't, but I forgot to add it to the agenda, but just for the sake of the recording and because we were stuck in the issue triage probably till the end, me and Paula will be at KubeCon next week. So if anyone is watching the recording and is joining KubeCon, join us for our talk. Join us at the project kiosk every afternoon. And make sure we are busy there and don't regret signing up for it. I don't know, Paolo, if you want to add something.
no, you already said pretty much. So that's pretty much
Cool.
it.
Yeah, sorry for, yeah, we can move to the triage now.
Yeah, we should have led with that one. Cool. Okay. So just before we go into issues triage, I just wanted to let people know. So we've recently had a proposal accepted around options for asynchronous issue triage. So this is just to help reduce the number of issues in the issue triage. So prior to this call, I went through and reviewed the issues myself, and a few of them that met the requirements, so basically had 3 thumbs up and were open for more than 5 days, I went ahead and marked them as triaged and removed the label. So if people are opening issues and you see a comment saying, this is being marked as triage, it's possible that they weren't discussed in a community call, but as long as people are giving thumbs up and there's no eyes to say, I want to discuss this, then that's what's happening, just so people are aware. So let's do issues. So I'm going to skip this top one, although I did want to ask a question. So both these first two, I think, have been open for a while. There's this one which is on me, and then there's this one which is on Marco
Didn't
to get back
didn't
to.
didn't Marco mention somewhere that he opened Kafka issue for this, or was that another?
The last comment on this one is this. So unless he gave an update somewhere else.
Yeah, I've seen the Kafka Jira. I'll give you the number. Give me a second.
But was it for this one, or was that different issue?
Was for the ICPU, but I think it's the same thing. No?
There's a graph here that's showing connection count.
I think that might have been different one.
I seem to remember seeing another OAuth related issue when I was reviewing.
Let's move to the next one and I will check it in the meantime.
Yeah. But anyway, my question was, for ones like this where it's on a specific person to do something and then it should be re-triaged, can we just remove the needs triage label and then whoever's task list it's on should just add needs triage again when they've got to it, rather than us discussing it and skipping it every time?
I would prefer to skip it every time because otherwise it gets forgotten.
Yeah.
And left behind. And nobody should stay forgotten and left behind.
So the next one is this one, which is Unify certificate handling. So I know this was raised by you, Jakob, around the different ways that the certificate handling is done within.
Yeah, this was raised by me because, quite frankly, the workaround I did for the CVEs. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, so
would make sense to rework it. I don't know how. It definitely needs proposal, but I think it would be great if we manage to somehow at least unify how we use the certificates to not have to spend hours investigating which part of the code does what and how does it work and so on, because like that was a mess on its own.
yeah, I definitely agree. So I've obviously been looking at the security code in general quite a lot for Cert Manager, and the current code is just so convoluted and all over the place, and there's so many different requirements for different parts. And I think I'm slowly managing to eke out what would make sense. But I wonder, Jakob, if maybe I ping you at some point and we sit on a call and I take you through where I'm kind of at with it and what you think based on your knowledge of the code, whether that would be a helpful way to move forward.
Yeah, sure.
Because yeah, there's between the cluster CA, the client CA, the cert manager code that I'm adding, the Strimzi managed stuff, the user managed stuff, there's quite a lot of different moving pieces to try and line up. And that's what I've been struggling with, is trying to do it in a way that actually makes more sense than what we've got today. Because what we've got today is very confusing, but it does work. So yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I feel like a lot of what you've discussed here I think we should be addressing. I'm on board for us addressing it. I still haven't worked out the best way, but I wonder if it could be tied into some of the changes that we've been bringing in as part of Cert Manager. Just to try and make everything simpler.
Yeah, so I mean, mark it as triage, assign it to yourself, and close it when you do, when it's kind of done or something like that, or
Yeah, well, so I guess a bunch of people added eyes because who's on the call who added eyes? Sequix Marosh, right? Or is that Jakub? I've already forgotten.
That's me.
Yeah.
I added eyes because I like it's also like very complex stuff, and I want to discuss like how would be the best approach. But we can see that we don't know the approach right now, so it's
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, I will assign it to myself and see how it fits in with what I'm doing with the Cert Manager code. Because this is basically the problem I've got with the Cert Manager code is because we do everything differently everywhere. I've had to put if Cert Manager everywhere, and that's what I've been trying to solve. Is how on earth do I not do that? So yeah, cool. I'll mark this as news triage then. It's yeah. I keep feeling like I found the answer, and then I'm like, oh no, it doesn't work because of this thing. But I think I'm getting closer. I suppose it's clear who Kate is because I'm not assigned. Cool. I'm not going to put needs proposal for now because some of the approaches I've been looking at don't really need a proposal because it's kind of tweaking and moving bits. So we'll decide how big of a change it is and then whether we need a proposal at that point.
yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. Next, we've got in test container, expose the Strimzi Connect container as a public class. Marish, this is yours, right?
yeah, this is mine. So basically, what it does is that when you invoke the connect cluster get workers method, you eventually like returns like generic container, and the generic container is part of the test container stuff. So eventually you end up with adding the test container dependency, which is not always the good way. And to mitigate or somehow remove such problem, you can just basically, or we can change the method signature. So we would basically return the Strimzi connect container. But this also means that we will need to public it. Like currently it's packaged private, I think. And we did very similar thing with the Strimzi Kafka container stuff. As we know, we have a public class, but it doesn't have any container, so like end user cannot just instantiate it, but it can use it in the test code. So the main motivation of using or doing this is basically just removing unnecessary test container dependency here, and just use our structures like Strimzi Connect container in this case.
Makes sense to me. And it seems like you had Lukash was happy with this. Anybody opposed to us doing this? Cool. The other thing I should have said actually with the asynchronous issue triage is we should have a think as we're doing this issue triage if there are things we want to evolve with the process. Because, for example, when I was looking at this, it occurred to me maybe 3 thumbs up is like too high a bar. Maybe we should drop the bar a bit. Considering you don't need that many for a PR to go in. But we should have a think as we do triaging and we can adapt over time. Ooh. This one we've discussed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Lucas says he's happy, so I'm going to mark it as triaged. Cool. Okay, next we have support nested JSON keys in password secret source in the Kafka Mirror Maker 2. So this is around today. I think it's used for Kafka user as well, isn't it? Basically, if you want to put a password secret source, the secret that you're referencing, it has to be a top level key, not a nested key, and the user's wanting to do some sort of JSON parsing. I saw, Jakob, that you'd responded saying you weren't sure about adding that because we might have to add lots of different parsing, and I agree.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think we want to do what the issue suggests.
No.
What might be something to consider is whether we can somehow make the things such as the password source more configurable so that users can, for example, use their own config providers or something to, for example, have some Vault or AWS managed secrets or whatever was used there to
Yeah.
kind of specify it that way. And actually that might solve this particular use case as well, because I have config provider which can read JSON path from the Kubernetes resources. It's pretty useful, but like, I don't think what's requested here makes any sense, but making the password source a bit more versatile to allow different specifications, that might be something useful, but that definitely needs a proposal. And to be honest, I don't know what would be in the proposal.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. I think my question, because then the user came back, was sort of talking about the Kubernetes secret config provider. And so I feel the same hesitancy in terms of, because I think their proposal that they've come back with would require us to update our own Kubernetes config map provider to support JSON parsing, which I don't know if we want to do.
So it's not like we might not want to do it, but I can share the repo in the chat. I have something what's called Kubernetes raw resource config provider. I will share it in chat. And that can actually read any resource, and it can extract some JSON path for it. And if you scroll through it to the use cases, I, for example, use it for my local testing to extract addresses directly from the Kafka CR.
Okay.
So I think that's something you can probably use for that. And I mean, if someone would want that in Strimzi, I'm happy to contribute that. I'm happy to keep it on my own. But like, you can do these things, for example, right? Even like, we already expect that users might add their own config provider. So it's not something what's impossible.
Yeah.
So they can add whatever they want, and they can use it in whatever way they want, if they can somehow specify it in the API how to configure the config provider. So like, that was my thought about it, that the issue itself, like what it suggests, it's wrong, but that there might be something what maybe we can improve. But yeah, it's not like I have some exact idea how it would look like in the API and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, aligning with the Kafka config providers in terms of configuring and things like that makes
Yes,
sense.
so like, my idea would be more that you would, for example, instead of specifying the secret, you would, for example, just specify some free text, and the free text would be uh, uh, the config provider call to extract it in whatever way, right?
What you mean? I'm not following what you said there.
So, I mean, if you look, for example, what the user is suggesting, the user is suggesting some Kubernetes config map, Kubernetes secret.
Yeah.
And rather than that, I would, for example, have some type plain, which would have some value field, and into the value field, whatever, if you don't care about security, you specify the password. But you, for example, specify there the config provider placeholder to extract
Oh, I see what
the
you mean.
password
Okay.
from whatever you want. So that was kind of the
Right.
thought.
Yeah, okay.
But also, like, I'm not sure if it makes sense to attach it to this issue because it will be forever tainted by how it started and what it suggested, and it will not be really obvious. So if that's something we want to track, I wonder if it's better to close this one and open a clean issue for
Yeah,
that.
I think that's a good point. Okay. Anybody opposed to the discussion here? Jakob, are you okay to open the separate issue?
Yeah, just CC me in the comment and
Okay.
don't close it. Don't remove the triage. I will do it when I open the new one. Also, just to make it clear to anyone watching the recording, I don't think the issue would provide any quick solutions. It's more like, yeah, if someone gets bored and wants to contribute something and spend months thinking about it, then that would be a nice thing.
Okay, so this one is around the Kafka Mirror Maker configuration. So my understanding of the issue here is within Mirror Maker, we have the mirrors configuration, and within that, you specify your source, where you're getting your data from, and then also the topics and groups that you're using for replication. So what the user is asking here is they want to have two different parts of their pipeline controlling those two different pieces. So they want two different parts to be able to patch those resources. And therefore, from a server-side apply point of view, they need to make sure there isn't a conflict. And because today we don't describe the mirrors field as a map, we describe it as an atomic value, it means that a single user owns the whole of that configuration, is my understanding. And so what they're asking for is for us to add the type map so that then the individual labels underneath can be owned by different owners. That was my understanding.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit like that, yeah. So the Kubernetes resources, they have some special markings for things such as list and maps.
Yeah.
You can specify, for example, that if you have a list of some objects, what's the key of the object? And you can kind of then treat them for uniqueness and things like that. And that's kind of, when you want to do server-side apply, that's then used to kind of decide whether you are replacing the whole list, whether you are replacing the just a single item, whether you are adding a new item into the list, and so on. And we currently don't have that, and that's why, yeah, it can't be really used for server-side apply. I have no idea how easy it would be to add, but it's something I had on my to-do list anyway, because actually I run into that when doing the Go client library for Strimzi. But yeah, so I would keep it. I don't know how exactly implement it. It might be useful. I don't think it's a priority. I don't think what the user wants to do is necessarily good, but like there might be some people just want to use server-side apply for everything. So yeah, having better support for it might be useful, regardless the exact use case here. So I would keep it. I'm not sure completely about the proposal because I'm not completely sure what would it mean. But obviously issues like this have historically always at the risk that you change something for one user and that somehow unintentionally screws up things for 10 other users. I'm not
Yeah,
sure the proposal really catches it, but yeah, that's kind of the thinking why I added the needs proposal label there.
I think needs proposal makes sense. I think for one thing, we'd need to decide the granularity, I think, of specifying these pieces. Like, how far down do you go or not?
Like in general, you should add it to all lists and maps to kind of
Yeah.
specify their meaning. Uh,
Because I guess mirrors is
and
technically a list of maps.
different things will have different values and different keys and so on. So I'm not sure I would expect the proposal to kind of cover all the cases where we will apply that in the CRDs, but maybe more how it will be done technically, as in
The implications.
can we generate this manually when we use lists somewhere? Probably not. Do we need to have some annotation for the lists to specify what should be used there? Uh, should the annotation be enforced everywhere? And these things that was kind of more what I expected in the proposal.
But do you think those sorts of discussions shouldn't that happen on an issue that's not specific to Mirror Maker though? Because don't we have the same
I
thing?
don't think this is specific to Mirror Maker in any way.
No. So should we close this but have an issue to look at this in general across all the resources?
I'm not sure. Like for me personally, this issue seems a bit similar. It doesn't seem to be completely similar to the previous one. I don't think it's completely misleading. I think renaming the title might be sufficient here. But
Yeah, we can.
yeah,
I'm happy to
if
rename
others
it.
prefer to close it and open a new one, yeah, it's not like I have a huge problem with it.
I'm happy for us to reuse this issue for it.
But like in general, I think you can just simply rename it to something like add support for server-side apply into our custom resource definitions.
Okay, annotations. Yep. I'm going to change it to add.
Add server-side apply support to Strimzi custom resource definitions or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say service apply annotations.
I don't think they are used for server-side apply only, but yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah. Happy?
Yeah. Sorry, custom resource definitions, not custom resources.
True. Yeah. Good point. Did I do the same thing down here, or did I put a D on the end? Yeah. Cool. Right, so the next one is around vertex. Yeah, this one's got. Yeah, I added the eyes. Why did I add the eyes? Oh, was it because we needed to decide an approach? Yes. So this one is around the where we're using completable features and then vertex features, etc. Right? So specifically, at the moment we have our own method, which is completable feature to vertex feature to fit together the parts where we're not using vertex to the parts where we are using vertex. but Vertex has a from completion stage method that we could be using. But the way that the exceptions are handled is subtly different in our method versus their method. And there's been some discussion in the chat about which approach to go for. We could continue to unwrap the exception, or we could simply use the completion exceptions. And it sounded like, so Tina and Lucia had done a thumbs up, but I don't know which option they thumbs up. Paolo voted for B. Is that which one that one is?
Well, it was not actually a vote because my comment came before this kind of voting. I was just raising the fact that anyway we are going to have so right now we are unpacking, as Jacob explained, we are unpacking the exception, right? With this vertex method, there is no unpack, so we should do it kind of manually in our code. And I was wondering if we really need to unpack, or we can just leave with the having the message to be in that form and reason the completion exception. Anyway, I'm totally open to any decision and discussion.
So to be honest, the reason why I added the option to unpack them was not necessarily about the message we give to the users, but it's also about the code. The problem is that we have been using these custom calls in many places, and it's hard to know what we do with the exceptions. Like, you call the current util method in one place, and then 3 levels higher in different class, you catch some specific exception. And that fails because suddenly the exception is not the original exception, which was unpacked, but it's the packed exception. Now, some of these places are like, at least like those areas where I run into this and realize this problem are, for example, in the rebalance area, where at least in some cases they have specific tests for the specific exception. So I see the tests fail.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I can go where they are failing and I can unwrap it there, right? The question is whether we have really a unit test for every place where we catch some specific exception and have some specific exception handling, or how many of these places are there which don't have any tests attached to it, and we will not really know that we suddenly are not catching the exception because we change this utility method. So that's kind of the main issue with this change, that you pretty much need to browse the whole call tree to see whether something calling this unwrapping 5 levels below is actually checking some exception, or is everything just throwing the exception up to the highest level where we just kind of show it to the user and so on. So that's kind of why it's complicated. On the other hand, if we would add the unwrap call to every single place we call this from completion stage, then that probably beats the purpose, right? So it's I think it's probably worth it in the long term, but it's not necessarily nice work.
I think in terms of the checking, I don't know, to me it feels like if it's that tricky for us to work out where these exceptions are being handled, then it's probably worth the time and effort anyway to either then change the behavior so that we're not catching things that many levels up, or at least have a test that is checking. So I would vote for us to be doing the work to check and therefore use the vertex method. Which is that option B?
That would be the option B, yes.
Yeah. Paolo, do you have a preference based on the discussion?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, with option B. Jakob, do you have do you still have the places where you find this you found this happening in the rebalance? Maybe it's worth opening issues so that we can verify if we have.
I don't think that's about opening issues. Like the places where I found it, those are the places where I can easily solve it, right?
Okay. Okay.
Because that's where where the tests are failing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like it's easy to fix in those places. The tricky part is that I don't know how many other places there are
Yes. Yeah.
which don't have any unit test, right? Like that's the part. So it's like for the places where it's failing, I can just simply unwrap it right now and then yeah, if you or someone else want to look at whether this can be moved somewhere else, the check for the exception and so on, that can be also easily done in a separate PR, for example. But yeah, it's more the places where we don't know about it, which are the challenge.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna do the same as I did before and basically just tag the people who thumbs up the issue. And I guess general note, if there are two options presented in the issue, then if you do a thumbs up, you should clarify which one you're thumbsing up so that then if everyone had said thumbs up B, we could just agree.
You don't need to ping it. We are triaging it just right now. So whatever we decide now, that applies.
Well, no, I was just gonna tell them. I was
Yeah,
gonna still mark it as triaged.
I already told them before,
Oh, okay.
or to rather like this. And I think one of the issues from Maros, I use it as an exception because if we want to do this triage, we need to learn how to write the issues to
Yes.
avoid these problems. Like
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna tell them our
a
decision.
bit more in the proposal style.
Yeah.
To kind of pick one option and mention the others as a rejected to kind of for clarity, but that makes it easier.
Oh, he's not Ali Cash, is he?
Im Conge, EM.
I am Conge.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna also just edit the issue slightly.
Okay, just rewrite it for grammar and language style.
No, I was just gonna write. I'm just trying to parse it quickly. Say we. I was gonna do that. Right. Perfect. And we're at time, aren't we?
May I just ask to go on page 2? We can remove an its triage on the issue that was related to the proposal that now is high priority. It's mentioning, sorry, scroll up. No, it's now in page 1 because you updated.
Yeah.
Should be the last one, I guess, at this point. No, where is the executor service?
What one was it for?
The number is 1090.
1090. Oh, why did I go to access?
Yeah, 1090. It's pull request.
1090. This is the longest way to get here ever. 1090. 109. That one?
Yes.
No?
No. Oh, sorry, it's on the bridge.
Oh. What's it called? Strimzi Bridge?
Strimzi-Kafka-bridge.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
This
okay.
one.
Yeah, this one. If we can just say, so if we agree all, because there are not enough thumbs up, but we can just
Oh, I
rehash
see.
that, yeah, that the proposal is now high priority, so we should move forward
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think enough people have seen.
There's a proposal for that. Proposal beats anyway triage.
Yeah, exactly. So
Cool.
okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
so the ask for the other maintainers and contributors also feel free to check issues, but specifically for the maintainers, please do have a look at the issues triage list ahead of the next community call and add your reactions so that then we can try and reduce the number. And whoever's running the next community call will then do a manual check beforehand and see if we can get rid of a bunch of them to try and reduce the amount that we have to triage in person to be just the ones that need some sort of discussion. Cool. With that, I think we're at the end, unless anyone has any other business. Perfect.
Sorry, I just joined a bit late, and I just wanted to confirm a thing about like I lost that issue. So there's a issue open for test containers. So is that a good first issue or not? Like there was a discussion that was going on, and I missed it. I'm sorry.
The test containers issue.
Yep, let me find it.
There's one there was a test containers issue that I asynchronously triaged. Is that the one you're
Yes,
referring to?
yes, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there was one, I'm trying to remember which one it was. There was a test containers issue which was around, if I can find it.
I think it's
Yeah.
about replacing the
This one. Yeah,
there we go.
I found it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I believe this one, the agreement.
Kate, sorry, you're not
Oh, okay.
sharing.
There's been a bunch of discussion since I marked it as triage. Right. Let me reshare.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the issue here. I had a look at it. It had a lot of thumbs up. And there was a discussion about whether it would be a good start. And Mara said yes, but it would require a SIP, which I inferred was proposal.
Yes.
Specifically because it's to change the public API, and in general, if we're changing the API, we create a proposal to make it clear to agree what the API change is going to be. So then I haven't read these comments down here. So if anyone has and wants to summarize, please do.
I mean, in general, I think maybe I covered it somewhere, but this issue is not so easy as it might seem at first glance, I think, because I think also Jakub here pointed out all the, yeah. So it basically needs proposal, then it needs a bit much work on test container, where you need to know the API and stuff. There will be, I think, some tweaks around copying, etc., to the containers. Then it needs release that could be really covered by me. And eventually, then you need to integrate that new version with the stuff of the replacement to the operator repo. So while it might seems very easy, it takes a lot of time, I think. So I'm not like probabilistic wise sure it is good start, but if you want to take a look at that and if you think you will manage it, I can guide you. So maybe we can try. I don't know what others thinks about, but I think it's mostly about me because I will be guiding it.
I'll be happy to give it a try.
I think like we can start with the proposal. The proposal should be very okay. Then like um, another thing is just maybe we can divide the work. So proposal, test container work, and integration could be on me.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, so just to clarify in general, the reason I left Good Start on it is that I felt that although having to do a proposal makes it more complicated than just having to have a pull request, I felt that things could still be a good start issue even if they need a proposal, because it could be a straightforward proposal.
To be honest, from my experience, the people asking for a good start issue, imagine usually something like can be done in a 1 day, for example. The issue with things which need proposal, it's not just how much time do you actually need to implement it. The problem is that you first write some document, then what's the median time to get a proposal approved? 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
So you wait 2 weeks, you keep getting feedback, then it gets approved, and then you can do the work, right? So like, I think just from the time perspective, that doesn't fit what most people expect under good start issue. Here it's even more complicated because basically after the proposal, you need to do the work on the test container, then you need to wait for the next test container release, and only then you can integrate it. So like, if everything goes well, it's probably spread across a month timeline or something like that. That's not what, from my experience, corresponds to what people see as a good start issues. I think they usually expect more something what can they kind of do rather quickly and not wait for weeks for reviews on some proposal and so on.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point in terms of the time, the additional time it adds for having to do a proposal.
And with that, I don't want to say that just because it's not a good start issue doesn't mean that someone cannot help with that, right? So that's completely fine, but I don't think these things should be marked as good start issues.
For instance, I think that issue previously we triage. I don't know. I don't remember about the test container. That should be, I think, good start. Like it was changing the Strimzi connect container, I think, to be publicly available, like in the API, and then also changing the method of get workers instead of like returning generic container to Strimzi connect container. Connect container. So that maybe could be the issue for you.
Sure. I'll just go through the list and figure that which one I'll be talking about, and yeah.
I think I can.
If
Maros, you can find it and share it. What I'll do for now is I'll remove the good start from here, since the consensus seems to be that this shouldn't have been marked good start.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
So I was pasted exactly what Michael already pasted in the chat. If you are not strictly interested in test container, but just contributed to Strimzi, there is a really good start issue on the bridge. This one, it's really something that, as Jakub said, can be done in 1 day, even less.
Thanks. I'll take a look at this.
Right, and then here's the other one. Do you want me to tag this one as good start, which we didn't discuss when we triaged it just now? Everyone happy with me adding good start to this one?
Good for me.
Cool. Right. Okay. I guess we'll leave it there then. Thank you everyone for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kate, for running this.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
very much. Bye.